so right. Like this guy's been needing to get punched for years now. Like,
yeah, this shit has been building his entire life.
Yeah, no, like in if you guys ever saw the movie Scott Pilgrim, they're like, he punched the highlights out of her hair, like he punched the color out of the anime. Fuck, like shit.
Welcome to the Strawhat Sitdown. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. What is going on, guys? It is your boy Kelly Mac on the track, never whack, bring it back, and we are back with Strawhat Sitdown, episode 96.
Let's get it.
Let's go.
We out here, baby. 4 to 100. 4 to 100, man. We almost there. We almost there.
Almost,
man.
Bro.
Appreciate everybody that's been rocking with us so far. Hope you guys continue to join us through our Strawhat Sitdown escapades, because we got a lot more One Piece to cover. You feel me? I am here with the gang as usual, though. Stray, I'm in the building. What's going on, my brother?
What's good, y'all? I mean, shoot, it's been a long time since we've been back on the regular scheduled programming with One Piece chapters. So
but a chapter, right? It's lit. I'm excited. And it was a banger. Yeah. Like, you can't ask for more coming back from a break like that. Know what I mean?
Exactly, man. Exactly.
What a banger too.
Yes. It's lit. Mr. G in the building. What's going on, my brother?
What's good, everybody? Yo, shout out to our own Tally Mac. He had a show on Friday, and I heard he killed it. So, yo, shout out to you, bro. That's awesome.
Much love. Appreciate you, brother.
And yeah, you know, like we back. We 4 away. I'm excited, bro. We 4 away from 100. That's crazy.
Nuts.
It's definitely nuts. It's crazy thinking about how far we came from when we first started. We didn't have our stuff together, and now we got a lot more stuff in order. It was just more organized. You know what I mean? Mad lit. I appreciate you guys, man.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We definitely got to do a big for 100.
Yeah. I have something planned, but we'll see if it pans out.
Y'all better stay tuned, Mr. G. You know Mr. G the planner too. You know you usually got some shit going too. You know what I mean? It's lit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's lit. Definitely lit. Last but not least, that boy YHuss in the building. What's going on, my brother?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling, bro. Blessed to be here. Blessed to be alive and healthy. So, and back with One Piece, like Mod said, like. This is what we live for, bro. I'm here, man. I am.
Yes.
It's kind of nuts, bro. On Thursdays, I be like a fiend, you know, like just doing work and just like refreshing TCB every half an hour, you know, like this chapter here, this chapter here. So finally, we're back, man. I'm happy to be here, bro.
Definitely understand, but I think we've all been fiending. It's definitely been a minute. What was the last chapter we got? Like this end of December.
Probably. Yeah, because
the leak came out a week before the official version came out, so we read the leak at like the last week of December, so we're going on damn near a month now. But it's lit. Let's get right into it, right? I mean, it's been a minute. Let's just get right into it. We go do the chapter review as usual. Y'all know how we get it.
Exactly.
Chapter 1104. Thank you, Daddy. Yeah, that title is. This is definitely. As soon as I read it, I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be one of them ones.
Yeah. Also on the title, if you even just look at the TCB page, like if you look at the chapter releases. Wow, let me find it. It's like, I got you. One Piece chapter 1100. Thank you, BONNEY. 1101. Dear BONNEY. 1102. The Life of KUMA. 1103. I'm so sorry, Daddy. And then to reflect 1100, which was thank you, BONNEY. This one is thank you, Daddy. Like the letter went from KUMA to BONNEY, and now BONNEY's
going from BONNEY to KUMA.
Yeah,
that's nice. Damn, that's a good pickup, bro.
That's a nice parallel.
That wasn't me, but thank you.
That is a dope parallel. What is a wizard, man?
He is.
That's how to put it, a wizard.
All right, we start the chapter off where we ended off the last chapter with KUMA cocking back the super kamikaze punch. I will go ahead and secede now. I was wrong. I'll hold that. You feel me? We don't even got before we get to it. You know what I mean? I will just secede now because I don't want to hear no "I told you so" when we get to the point. You feel me? That boy's punch definitely landed. I didn't think it would, but you know what I mean. Or they gotta prove me wrong sometimes. You gotta keep me on my toes. Know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. He went through too much, man. Like we needed this.
Nah, he needed it. He needed it. He definitely needed it, and he did it good. But before that, he is cocking back the punch. We get a little bit of a flashback montage of the different trials and tribulations that KUMA went through to get to this point. As he's about to punch him, Saturn is completely confused as to how Kuma's here. And he also reveals that he pushed the self-destruct button that he told Vegapunk to install in Kuma. So by all means, Kuma shouldn't be here, but here he is. And then yeah, we get one of the most satisfying punches in probably this entire story.
Yeah, especially since Luffy on Saboti.
So yeah, with the Celestial, that was the exact moment I thought of when I saw this part.
Yeah.
He needed that shit. He needed the shit, and Saturn needed to get his ass punched, bro.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Especially after knowing everything that we know and everything that he's done to transpire to this moment. Like we needed to see this.
We did.
Yeah, we absolutely did.
It's crazy. That one panel where you see Kuma jumping to punch Saturn, it's crazy to see how big fucking Saturn is, because Kuma's a big guy, right?
Yeah.
And like, yo, Saturn's huge.
I actually think I remember seeing something on Twitter this weekend where somebody made a thread about the size comparison and how, and to your point, to how monumental that punch has to be in order for him to do as much damage as he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, seriously. This is going to be great animated.
This is gonna go hard. This whole arc is gonna go so hard animated. But yeah, this part specifically.
If it's anything like Luffy's punch to St. Charles, oh my god, it's gonna be so cathartic. Like, you know, they gotta do it big in the anime, like the Luffy punch to Charles. Like, I gotta see it.
I could see them probably doing the same thing where they go black and white also.
They have
to, with that make that parallel.
And even versus Kaido, they did that little like the color fading out of the panel of the page of the episode.
The episode.
Yeah,
but that's what it is, though. It's when you punch them so hard, you go back to the manga. That shit is monumental, bro.
And after I read this chapter, I wanted to see how the manga, because I haven't read Sabuni in a while, so I went back to read the page where Luffy punches Charlos, and it's really like the anime really like did their thing with it, because it's really like it's a sick page of him punching him. He definitely wrecks his shit. But like the anime, like the scene that we're all familiar with, the scene we all love, is really the anime is doing. Like they really bolstered it. But in this manga chapter, I feel like Oda gave a lot of build up and weight to the punch. So like even in the manga, it's kind of like carried a little differently. So the anime is gonna bolster even more. I'm really excited, like Mod said.
And even then, like with Kuma's face, you see the detail. You see the ferocity in his face. Like he's like like so. Right, like this guy has been needing to get punched for years now. Like,
this shit has been building his entire life.
Yeah, no, like in if you guys ever saw the movie Scott Pilgrim, they're like, he punched the highlights out of her hair, like he punched the color out of the anime. Fuck, like shit.
No, this shit is definitely gonna be lit when we get to that point in the anime. We probably got a little ways to go, but. Yeah, it'll definitely be worth the wait.
Yeah, and just the art in this double spread is amazing.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, the art is pretty good, like very good. You see, like this kind of reminds me a little bit of I forgot that chapter with Ginny passed or whatever.
Oh,
It kind of reminds me of. I felt like it did. If it accidentally Oda didn't complete that. I felt like this is what like the type of detailing he was trying to go for that back in that chapter, because it reminds me of that, but it's a lot more polished and stuff. So like this is so good. This is so good.
Yeah, Oda doesn't really do double spreads like that, so it's definitely a treat whenever we do get a nice spread like this. Yeah, definitely lives up to the hype. Kuma definitely punches the shit out of Saturn, sends him flying into buildings, which then crumble on top of him. Yeah, Kuma did a number to him. He definitely did a number to him. We see some of the Marines go to Saturn's side to try and rescue him from the rubble. We then see Kuma go back to his daughter.
I think another part is like the Marines like reacting to Kuma like doing the punch, and they're just like, oh my god, this dude really just punched like the Elder Star. We've never seen anything like this. And it kind of reminds me of like the reaction of Luffy punching Charlos. Everyone's like, there's no way this guy just put hands on a Celestial Dragon. And this is an even bigger level. And another thing they say is like, yo, this guy's a slave and he just punched a literal Elder Star. So like these guys must have their minds blown like one moment after another, in this situation right now.
It is crazy because like you said, Kuma was born a slave, right? And like for him to punch the Gorosei, one of the top people in the world, is crazy. Like they said, this is a historical atrocity. That's crazy. You know, so
Definitely worth taking note of. I don't know how much they say. Like, they do say it's a historical atrocity, but I don't know how many people will know about it, right? Because even on the island, only a select number of people can even see what's going on right now.
But you know, if that info did get out, it would be huge. Like, it would change the world. If people would start revolting more and be like.
Does the world know of the 5 elders' existence? They do, right?
Yeah. I think we had this discussion a while ago, and even in this arc was when we were talking about it, because we were just wondering when he pulled up on the island, like, yo, do niggas know this guy exists? But then one of the Marines said, yo, I've only seen this guy in paintings.
Okay, yeah. So they're aware at the very least.
Yeah.
Okay. So Kuma goes to console Bonnie. Everybody's running to their side, and Vegapunk is reflecting a little bit because he reveals that he did not attach any self-destruct button. He said he couldn't. He said that he knew that they would turn him into a suicide weapon, but instead of a bomb, he attached a shutdown switch. So when Saturn flipped the shutdown switch, Kuma should have been put in a vegetative state without the ability to act or even carry out orders, which is how we found him.
Yeah.
Right? So because we know there was at one point when we see him with Dragon, he's completely unresponsive, vegetative state.
Yeah. That makes sense now, because like Saturn said, when a few days after the revolutionary took him, he pressed that, so that would make sense why he was in a vegetative state at the time. But then all of a sudden he just fucking started moving.
Was he in a vegetative state though? He was saying to Dragon, thinking it was just one of his masters, he said, "What is your order, master?" He was talking.
Did he? Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. And like it seems to me like Vegapunk is positing that like Kuma has somehow overcome that. And I think I guess we don't know when he pressed it in art, like with what we've seen of the revolutionaries.
I feel like there was a point in time, I could be wrong, but I feel like there was a point in time where Kuma was unresponsive on the revolutionaries island.
I think between the times we've seen him was when he first comes back, when they're waiting for Sabo and Dragon says, I won't forgive him if he killed Cobra, and then that's when he said the thing about
what is your orders.
Yeah. And then after that we see him in the hooked up to the machine, and then he starts running. Those are the only two times we see him.
Okay.
So I guess we haven't seen the
yeah, I guess we haven't
yet.
Regardless, he is supposed to be in the state which he's not. Vegapunk is completely confused, and then he drops his bombshell on us. He says that there's no logical scientific basis for his arrival here, and then he says, so is it true then? It is not the physical strength of the Buccaneers that makes them remarkable, because at one point in time they ...
Oh God.
And then that's it. We don't hear anything else about it for the rest of the chapter.
Even that's a bit of a change from the TCB.
Yeah, it is. I remember them saying it differently in TCB.
Yeah, TCB. Let me find this shit. He said the Buccaneers were said to have a special characteristic beyond their strong bodies, and then the part that makes sense with this is that he said that last sentence is, "After all, your people once." So that correlates with, for at one point in time
so they did something.
But I mean, the physical strength.
Yeah, the first part is not like, it's like, yeah, the first part is like not really what the official's saying. The first part is the Buccaneers are said to have a special characteristic beyond their strong bodies, which I was like, that's a bit of a difference. And then I wanted to find what Artur had to say about it, Library of Ohara, and in his like breakdown of the chapter, his translation was, the key trait of the Buccaneer race is not their strong bodies. And then again, very similar to both translation, it says, once upon a time the Buccaneers ... So it seems like him and TCB agree on some key trait of the Buccaneers.
I feel like all three translations you just said the same thing.
I was gonna say you could read it is not the physical strength of the Buccaneers that makes them remarkable. So there's some other, so you could just take the opposite. So there's some other trait that makes them remarkable.
Wait, I'm confused because I got
I'm
that
just-
from
they all say the
all
same
three.
thing.
Okay, because I thought you were
yeah.
highlighting a difference. I was confused.
No.
Okay.
But just the wording could have.
Yeah, the wording is a little different. Yeah, but I did get the same thing from both translations. What do we think? Makes them remarkable. What are we thinking? How the brain cogs turning right now?
The only thing that came to my mind was like how Brook came back to his body from his devil fruit. I don't know, maybe the Buccaneers could inherently do that if they have a body or something that they can go back to or something like that. Like maybe Kuma's soul like at one point just came back to his original body since it was an empty vessel.
Well, I have a question for you. Do you think Kuma's soul ever left his body though? He was using his devil fruit.
Well,
it's hard to say because there was a time period where I don't know because at some point he was just a slave, right? He was just like a slave again to the Celestial Dragons. I don't know if he was active during that time or not. So that's why it's hard for me to say. I see where you're coming from, but it's just hard to tell for me right now.
No, very fair.
I don't
Mysta.
Part of me thinks it deals with the whole like, you know how we have like the whole like, Kuma's dream was to see Bonnie be saved, you know, and like I feel like that kept him going, and maybe even also the manifestation of Bonnie's dream of being able to see your father again one day, right? And I feel like it might deal something with that, like keeping him going, you know, like that hope to still be able to like see her, to protect her, just kept him going with like whether he was in a vegetative state or not. Like it just in his core, it just kept him going, and then that's what like triggered it. That's how I saw it, but you know, we'll see.
I'm glad you said that, bro, because there's a line later in the chapter when Vegapunk tries to explain to Saturn, and he says like you can maybe see it as the power of love, but I guess that wouldn't make you feel any better. So that to me sounds like Vegapunk is just saying that he doesn't really believe that it is entirely just Kuma overpowering it, that there's something about the Buccaneers specifically that makes them able to do this specific thing. And I remember when the talk of like the Buccaneers' grave sin started, like when it first came up from Saturn. And then I think I brought it up here about how my buddy Grayson was saying that maybe the idea, because remember, on God Valley, Kuma said, "I'm gonna use my ability to be like Nika and save as many people as possible." And Saturn said, to respond to that, he said, "That's exactly why your people need to be eradicated." So there's a connection between their sin and this thing of theirs and Nika. And then my buddy posited that maybe what they've done is they've kept Nika's belief alive, and that might be why the devil fruit exists in today's day and age.
Yeah.
And that could be construed as like a grave sin to the world government to keep the will of their ancient enemy alive, right? And so I was thinking like exactly what you said, Mysta, about how his dream, his core existence is for Bonnie, right? He's like, this is what I'm alive for. This is my purpose, to just protect this girl and then let her have the chance to live. So I think you might be onto something about how they're known for keeping the dream alive of Nika, and maybe it's like connected in some way to keeping Bonnie safe has become his personal dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
to me that makes
all I
sense.
can think. To me, that's all I can think of. But I'm not really positive on that because it sounds like it's some like literal ability of theirs somehow. But who knows?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that, like I feel like it just stems with like their strong will, because we've always talked about like the will of D, like people that have the will of D have like that extra like will to just keep going, like Luffy and all those others. So yeah, I think it's possible that it deals with that. But Mod, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was just leaning more into like an actual like ability or whatever, because it feels like it not being an ability is like more of like a red herring type thing, because like it feels like a bunch of times in this chapter, like, you know, it feels like they're depositing that, like, you know, it could be like, you know, some weird thing that no one has ever heard of, but like at the same time, you know, there's like some type of discretion that Oda's using to hide that there's something there. So that's why it makes me feel like it's a red herring and it's a legit ability or some type of trait or something of that the Buccaneers can do potentially if certain conditions are met or something like that. And I also hearing y'all, it could have something to do with the fact that, like, you know how devil fruits are essentially manifested dreams, right? And then certain devil fruits like mystical zoans and stuff like that are of not just creatures, but of, I would say mythical devil fruits are of figures too. So the fact that they basically made a devil fruit to keep Nika's spirit or his embodiment alive in the manifestation of a devil fruit could be something that originally Buccaneers could do, and that may be the connection between Nika and Buccaneers in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah, like maybe Nika can only come back, or maybe maybe Nika can only come back so much because of like the Buccaneers' original abilities or original traits or whatever.
Yeah,
and
whatever the special ability is of theirs.
Yeah, and that's probably the reason why. But then the question I have to ask myself also is, like, you know, what about the other Buccaneers then? If this is like a thing that they could do. Like, yeah, and then why is it also Kuma's like father not around anymore? But why can Kuma, you know, come back or whatever the case is? So it's a lot. A lot more questions than answers. So.
Yeah, facts.
Yep.
Classic Oda, bro.
One door closed, a million more open. That's definitely how Oda rolls. Yeah, I took it. I couldn't really make heads or tails of what the power could possibly be. I do agree with you guys that it probably is not a red herring, and it probably is an ability that the Buccaneers possess that would allow him to regain his will. But yeah, I don't have anything beyond that. I think it's just a wait and see type thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, agreed.
Feel that.
Yeah. So while Vegapunk's contemplating this, we see Kizaru, who is a bitch ass nigga, by the way, get back up and say that it's over. We also find out that Strawhat has disappeared. Luffy is nowhere to be found now. He's eating his food. He's gotten his fill, and he's out of there.
So weird.
Yeah, that's interesting, right?
So I wanted to ask you guys: are we still on the boat that Kizaru helped Luffy?
I've flipped sides now.
You still?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I
will say though, I don't think that I just don't think Kizaru's actions in this chapter, like, because everyone's like, oh, like he's completely on their side now, like on the side of the Marines now. Like, there's no way he helped Luffy. But I think if the whole point of what we were saying last chapter was that he was doing it stealthily, if it was
right.
So that I just want to say, like, that the fact that he's helping them now doesn't really discredit what people were saying before, because if you were helping them just like stealthily, that means he wouldn't feel comfortable openly helping them, so he would still attack them in the end either way. But the reason I switched sides is because Luffy literally disappeared.
Yeah, and I said originally that it could be Kizaru, but my bets are on something like Caribou or something like that.
I
remember
you said that.
Caribou swallowing him up and like hiding him would make sense, because he just disappeared.
And the question becomes why.
Yeah.
I want to throw. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, please, you go ahead, continue.
I want to throw a hidden factor in here. This might be a long shot, but we do know of 2 other pirates that are still on the island.
Let's
Blackbeard pirates.
You're the man. No, this is not a long shot. You're
pirates.
spitting right now.
I think if they were in hiding in here, we know they got here before. They got here a day ago, so we know they have to be somewhere on the island.
Yeah.
More likely than not. Let's say that they were here and waiting for the opportune moment, and perfect time and ever when Luffy's down to scoop him up. I definitely do think it's a long shot because we don't know what their powers are or their agenda. So,
but the thing is that I don't like. I think the real question against that is why would they feed him? But to me, I think because okay, first off, let's look like Caribou is the most likely answer for who helped Luffy, right? And how he could have disappeared. Well, I guess let's just start from there. Caribou seems like the most likely answer. And if there's something we learned at the end of Wano, and I don't know if he said at the end of Fishman Island when he heard about Poseidon, but there's someone that he has this information to give to. And we assume it might be Blackbeard because who else would be interested?
Right.
That would also work with Caribou. I don't think we see Shanks working with Caribou, but who knows?
Yeah.
My point is that we now have 2 Blackbeard pirates, like you said, Callie, on the island. We have a situation with Luffy that seems to correlate perfectly with Caribou's abilities. Giving a whole amount of food out of nowhere and disappearing. You know, which is something he can do. He can literally make he has literally an infinite swamp, right?
Yeah.
And if we have this link that we people have a little bit of an assumption that maybe Caribou's working with Blackbeard, what if Caribou abducted Luffy? So because the Blackbeard pirates are gonna propose to Luffy that they work together to defeat Saturn. Similar to Whole Cake when Beige was like, "Yo, Luffy, let's work together to beat Big Mom."
You know what?
What?
I can see that.
Because I think the question is why would Black Caribou, even if he's not related to the Blackbeard pirates, why would I'm assuming whoever made Luffy disappear is the same person who gave him food. Why would they give him food and take him hostage? You know what I mean?
That's very fair.
Yeah, but
I think that kind of that makes me feel that makes me more against the idea now, though, because what stake would Blackbeard or his crew have in infiltrating Egghead to take on Saturn?
Yeah, and they probably didn't even know that Saturn was there either, too.
But I think what we know about the Blackbeard pirates is that they're the biggest opportunists of all time.
Yeah,
Blackbeard is like, yo, situation has arisen, I'm gonna take advantage of it completely. And like literally him defeating Ace only happened because he was originally gonna go after Luffy, right? And Jaya.
Yeah.
So I think Kali, like the appearance of one of the heads of the world government appearing is going to be something that they might want to take advantage of. I don't even think they want to kill him. I think something Mod has been saying for a while about the hostage situation at Pirate Island. I've always thought about like how Garp, because he's always mentioned how like the trading of hostages is not a bad thing for the Blackbeard pirates. How when they got Garp, it didn't really change anything. I was saying, if all happens, it's that Garp just gets captured, doesn't really change anything. I think that's what I was saying back then. Either way, the point is that they're looking to gain political power to make Pirate Island a nation in the world government. Capturing one of the 5 elders is a crazy bargaining chip, right?
That's true.
That would be a very crazy bargaining chip. Yeah. I don't know if that'd be possible with just 2 of the lesser Blackbeard pirate members, but once again, this goes back to us not knowing their abilities.
Yeah. Could we don't know which pirates, right? Which
we can guess that 2 of them are Luffy and Katarina Devon.
Well, we know Katarina Devon's ability, pardon. So we don't know Lafayette's ability. That's what I mean to say. I think that's the biggest wild card here.
And Luffy is the biggest question mark of the Blackbeard pirates.
He really is, bro.
He literally appeared in Marijois. And someone like Mihawk didn't even notice that he was there. Like that's just the greatest thing to me. Obviously, 3 times too, so who knows, all the hacky shenanigans.
Yeah.
But still, like he's such a big question mark. So yeah, I just think when you just think about motives and stuff, it raises a lot of questions. But that's just my going theory right now. Obviously, we do not have the answers.
And also that would also explain, since Kylie, you asked, well, why, like, what would be the point of teaming up with Luffy? That would be the point. Yeah. They will have, Luffy's firepower to help deal with Saturn, and then, in exchange for using Caribou to help them, it's using Caribou to help him out, when he defeats Saturn, like he defeats Saturn, then they take Saturn or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. That's exactly what I had in mind. Yeah.
Yeah, something along those lines. But the only thing I will oppose, though, and I think that's a good theory, but the only thing I will say, though, is if by the off chance that the Blackbeard pirates are not there orchestrating this, I could see Caribou doing this on his own whim, because he's still on the island. He was, Zoro, was like, you gotta go.
Yeah.
So, and then there's a buster call. There's the island surrounded by Marines left and right. The island's about to be nuked. Everyone on the island is going to be killed. Caribou has massive reason to help Luffy here, regardless of the Blackbeard pirates being there or not.
I agree with you. I agree with you, but my question would be like, what would a one-on-one talk with Luffy and Caribou really amount to for Caribou? You know what I mean? If he's acting by himself, like either way, it's gonna come down to.
I don't think I see it as him trying to take him away to talk. I think if I'm based off of what we've seen of Caribou, he's not the most courageous person on the planet. So like I could see a situation where he takes Luffy and they pop up somewhere else on the island, and he's like, "All right, let's get the fuck out of here."
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Like, help him eat on his own without being, because he was getting bone rushed.
He was about to get bone rushed. Yeah, that is true.
Like, get that dude. Like, he's eating. Like, stop. and you know, I didn't even say that when we saw that, like, you know, how hilarious that was to me, because it's almost like Saturn knows, like, about the weird thing in One Piece where you eat, you recover, like, type shit, which is never addressed whatsoever. In fact, they always looked at that as kind of like a weird thing that Luffy could do. So it's funny that, like, Saturn was on top of it, like he knew, like he just knew, like, Oda's writing or something like that. Like, wait, this dude's eating? Nah. Oh, nah. Oda's trying to buff him. Stop.
Shut that down. Shut that down, yo.
That's kind of real.
Yeah, nah, but yeah, Caribou, I think, like, if he has, like, reasons, he would definitely be motivated, I feel like, because of how dire the situation is. Get Luffy out of there. He was about to get jumped. Let him eat in peace, and then he comes back to the battlefield or whatever.
Yeah, I think we all agree Caribou is the most likely suspect for this.
Yeah.
I forgot until you guys mentioned that he is speculated to have the ties with Blackbeard, so if it does, this would make sense for him to lead into Blackbeard's crew appearing, whether Caribou brings them to them or one way or another. But at the very least, I think we can all agree that Caribou probably fed him and got him out of there.
Yeah, I think we just straight up don't have any other answer. Like, there was, if Caribou wasn't here, we would simply just not have any.
Yeah, no, we'd be lost. If we didn't know Caribou was on the barrel, we'd be absolutely lost.
Yeah, I guess we could still assume about Luffy.
I'm about to say people will still, like, you know, either the Blackbeard Pirates or Kizaru himself. I mean, I know there's people that still, you know, hinge on Kizaru.
Yeah, and I do want to go run back to that, because I do agree with YHuss's point in that Kizaru still has to put on the front for the Marines. So I think it is still possible that he could have helped him, maybe even whisked him off somewhere before he came back. That one's a little, because we do see him.
To me is a bit of a
yeah. But at the very least, you could still say that he fed him, and then maybe somebody else scooped him up while he was about to get bum rushed. You know what I mean? That's also possible.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, and we do know that Caribou has seen Luffy's feats, right? Like, he knows that the only way that he's gonna get out of this situation alive is by putting his trust
in
whatever into Luffy. Yeah, because
again,
because it's not the first time.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
Like, so
yeah, and I still maintain the same thing that I said last time. I just don't think Oda will write his light speed as, like, something that no one would detect.
Yeah.
But
especially Saturn, of all people, he's a very perceptive person too. So I feel like he would have noticed if fucking Kizaru wasn't there for like a second.
Yeah, I mean, everybody felt his presence when he came. I would be surprised if he couldn't do the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just I think it's still my number one pick is Caribou. Maybe Blackbeard Pirates could have something to do with it, just because of how ambiguous that is. But my least likely answer is probably Kizaru.
Yeah, I agree.
That's fair.
I think
that's fair. I think that's definitely fair.
Yeah.
All right, so Luffy's going. Fuck it, we out.
Definitely, like, super unexpected. Like, I did not.
Right? Yeah, it was. Like,
yeah. I think he'll probably turn back up in a really big way, though. That's how it normally goes.
Oh yeah.
Part of me was thinking though, like, real quick, was that, like, what if, like, he ate enough and he just, like, jumped, like, in the air, like he's like in the air getting ready to do an attack on Saturn, like, you know, and he
would have been in the air the whole chapter. I think someone would have looked up.
Well, no one's looking up, because they're like, they don't even want to report this shit. Like, they're like, yo, where the fuck does this guy go?
Bro, Luffy is not flying through the sky like Superman, bro.
Hey, I'm just saying, yeah, if my man comes out of nowhere and knocks Saturn out. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll hold that. I mean, you know what? I was as soon as I said that, I was like, damn, he definitely can fly in Gear 4. I can't even fucking say that shit.
Yeah, and Gear 5. Like,
Yeah.
we can instantly transform Gear 5 and then zoop up in the air. But I don't think Oda would write it like that. So I don't know. It's just like that would be funny.
That would be funny. That would be pretty funny.
Just eating in the air right now as we speak.
That would definitely be funny.
Like and just chilling, and then it just comes down with the Superman punch or something.
Yep.
Like
Oh, dude, that would be fucking awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
that. Yeah, no, that would be lit.
But only time will tell.
Yep. So so Luffy's gone. We go back to Bonnie and Kuma, and Bonnie is thanking her father, letting him know that she saw all of his memories and that he wrote all the letters and how she saw her mom. And she says how everyone calls Kuma a tyrant, but she knows that he is the kindest, most wonderful man in the whole world, and she'll never forget it.
Yeah,
Beautiful moment.
Yeah,
I wonder how much of Kuma is inside of his body, because we see him protect his daughter and punch Saturn and even hug Bonnie, but he's kept the same blank, emotionless stare the whole time. He has not said a single word. So it makes me think that he is here, but he's not completely here.
Yeah, he hasn't said a word.
Yeah, I think it's a little suspicious.
Yeah. I guess this is definitely the time to talk about like how far, like how much longer can he really overcome the self-destruct switch? Like, did he just straight up beat it, or was his burst of energy only lasting as long as it took to make sure Bonnie was safe?
Till he got to Bonnie to make sure that.
I think that I want to say that he overcame it because he came a long fucking way to get to Bonnie from where he was at.
He was definitely flying for a whole day.
He was flying a long time, and I think it's possible that he could have been fighting it the entire time, but he also had to climb the red wall, tank all these attacks, fight Akainu for a little bit of time. Yeah. Get through all this stuff. I think that's a lot on top of fighting to keep your willpower. I think it's a lot. My stock would be in that he's overcome it, and this may be the limit as to how much he can be present, how much willpower he can have in his current state. You know what I mean?
I see that.
He's enough to do this. He has enough to use his powers to travel and fight and take actions how he wants to. But yeah, maybe that's the limit. Maybe just speaking is too much.
I also wanted to ask you guys, what did you guys think of what Kizaru meant? Well, it's over. Like, cause I feel like that's very, I don't know. It just caught me, and I was like, what does he mean? You know, like, does that mean like Saturn's like gonna unleash everything, or like?
That was before Saturn got up, right? I think maybe he meant like, I think maybe it meant like the situation, like, and the Bonnie's life being threatened potentially. Maybe he thought they'd get away after this.
Okay.
I actually like that you brought that up though, because I do think that this could be interpreted a few different ways.
I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, I didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
It could be like him knowing that this thing is about to get right back up.
So like he punched him like, all right, well, it's over. Everybody dead now.
I could definitely see that being the case.
And you know what?
It could be.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would make sense into his actions, how he goes to Saturn's side. You know what I mean? If he recognizes that Saturn's about to come up and beat ass, he's gonna go to Saturn's side and make sure he don't get his ass beat too. You know what I mean?
And I think even then it's like, even if he didn't, because honestly, how the fuck is anyone supposed to know that this guy can regenerate a whole arm? And like I think it's kind of like, I don't think Kizaru knew he'd be fine from that punch. But what I will say is that even if he wasn't fine, like, I don't think Kizaru, even with his amazing power, would have the job security to let Kuma, a slave, punch an Elder Star, not doing anything about it. So maybe he really thought like this would really trigger a Buster call for Shonen no matter what happened, and we'd have to take action. That's how I thought when I said, you know, it really could be. Because maybe he's like, oh no, the line has been pushed now. You know?
Yeah.
I can see it taken that way. But you know, you could see it as like him saying, "Oh man, finally."
Yeah, he could also. I don't know. It's kind of
It's really an
kind of
ambiguous line.
concurrent. It's kind of concurrent to your point. I feel like this could also be him if, let's say, that he did help Luffy with the food. Let's say that he was teetering on the line, like you said, he was teetering on the line and about to help everybody. He could see this and maybe think, I can't help them anymore. Saturn's about to go crazy. You know what I mean? It's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
You know,
I have to stay on this side now. You know what I mean?
Now that you say that, Callie, because Kizaru said something else later on when we get to the end of the chapter.
Yes.
I think your point makes sense. But let's keep it going.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really glad you pointed out that line though, Mysta. Really ambiguous.
Yeah, 100%.
Kizaru is an interesting guy. And
Yeah, he
we'll talk
is.
about it later.
He is.
We'll talk about it at the end of the chapter. But yeah, his inner turmoil here is very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Saturn, obviously not dead, comes up from the pile of rubble. He is pretty battered and bruised.
Yes, he is.
And he calls for Vegapunk to explain all this, and this is when we get the line that YHuss mentioned earlier, where he says, "Well, I suppose it must look." Well, Saturn asks, "Was this all you're doing?" Vegapunk says, "I suppose it must look that way. I could call it the power of love, if it makes you feel any better." Yeah, you know what? I do agree with what you said earlier. Now, while I was looking at the line now, it seems like he's saying that more so to simplify it because he either doesn't think he'll understand or he wants to keep that information. You know what I mean?
Yeah, either or. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either or. And
So I definitely agree with that.
Him just saying a platitude. Basically.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Saturn says he has no more use for anybody, and then regenerates his arm.
Yep. Crazy, bro. Like,
Yeah,
his regeneration is OD.
Yeah, this guy is scary.
That was nuts.
This guy is scary, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Not just that though, but the fact that Kuma blew off his arm and like one of his horns, and like he actually did damage to this guy.
Yeah,
you know.
No, he did some damage with that one punch.
One punch.
Big shout out. Okay, you know what? I guess now is a good time as any to bring it up. You can go back to the regenerating page, Callie. My buddy asked a good question in our local chat, and he said, if Saturn has insane regeneration, why does he have scars on his face and in his human
right
form?
now? Yeah.
All the Gorosei have scars, like in their regular forms.
I mean, I don't think that's a crazy. Like, I feel like he could have just got it before he got his regenerative powers. No.
Yes, that is crazy because Callie, there's a big idea that, and because I was reminded about because of what he says in the page where his arms are generating. He says, "I see it's a flaw in the human form." There's a lot of lines where he talks about humans as something beneath him,
Right?
And that they're above humans. And I guess the Dragons do the same thing, but especially Saturn and the other stars seem to really believe that they are a different species. And because of his appearance on the island, his form, his fucking teleportation and his fucking satanic star, people are starting to think that like these guys are not really human. It's a popular. I mean, I feel like we've talked about this before and we've agreed and disagreed. So yeah, it's a pretty popular theory that like these guys are not originally human beings, and I'm staunch. I really do believe they are originally human, and they've acquired this power somehow.
I think like kind of like they made a pact with the devil type of shit.
I think that would be cool too. But I just think it's wild that people think they're like these are the devils. You know what I mean? These are these supernatural beings.
I feel
you know what I mean?
So basically, what you're telling me is these niggas are warlocks. Like
it's possible.
You gotta explain a little, please. Yeah.
A warlock is a mystical is a warlock is like a wizard, but they channel their magic through the arts of another being. Like they make contracts with mythical beings or whatever to channel their magic.
Honestly, I think the most likely answer is just literally a mythical devil fruit. But even if it is some like actual supernatural devil, fine, that's cool. But yeah, I just think they're completely human to begin with, and they were just some niggas before.
I feel like even if they weren't human originally, why couldn't they have obtained their regenerative powers after they received their scars?
I guess that's possible. Sure, that definitely could be.
Also, scars are cool, bro. You know, they gotta show off, bro.
I mean, it could make sense to what Callie is saying, just because like we know Saint Saturn is like the god of science or something like that of his vision. So it's possible he could have experimented with all the Gorosei and gave everybody like regenerative abilities, or himself even.
That's true.
Or just whatever. And then we know, like, you know, you can apparently science your way to like devil fruit powers, like Franky's radical beam and stuff like that was based off of Kizaru's beam and other things. So it wouldn't surprise me if and shoot, BONNEY is literally a product of that, like just pure science taking out like the devil fruit itself, but giving the abilities to a person. So it would not surprise me if Saturn could do the same to himself or others.
True.
And generation.
And Callie, I cannot refute or dispute what you said about how they could have still not been human and received these and gained these regenerative powers somehow later. I can't. But I will say that I feel like I think there's even a saying, it's called like Occam's razor, about how the most without further knowledge or like reason to think so, you should assume the most simple answer. And in my head, it's that these regenerative powers and this devil, like the supernatural being of theirs, is the same thing. So I just assumed one would come with the other. But you're right, that is a possibility. But I think for me, I say it points to them being human, which is in my opinion an important line, which I hope that's what I was going for. But yeah, I just thought it might have been a point in my favor, but it could also not be.
That's interesting. No, it's interesting. I think it's definitely worth taking note of. Yeah. So Saturn is back. He's back in action. He's aiming for KUMA. Bonnie's telling him to move out, telling KUMA to move out the way, but Sanji comes to the rescue first and kicks the shit out of Saturn's arm. Then Franky comes from behind with a radical beam. He says we owe KUMA a great debt too, which is a cool line. Calling back to how he protected the ship for 2 years, and Franky was the only one. Is he the only one that knows, or is he just the first one? I think he told them eventually, right?
He told them, yeah.
Right. But him being the first one, the one to actually see KUMA, it's nice to see him saying that line.
Actually, because I reread the part where he tells them, and he says literally like word for word, KUMA is a great ally, and we owe him a lot. So yeah, he's like calling it back. He's like, "Yo, this guy is our goat." We wouldn't be here without him.
No, 100%. It's good that Franky realized that. We then see Kizaru say that they develop very well, and as Franky is piercing Saturn with a radical beam, Kizaru comes from behind Franky and hits him with a light speed kick. Sends him flying. Sanji's there to witness. It's looking rough.
I do like his line though. He's like, "Show me how you've grown," and like I feel like Franky back then would have probably like lost an arm or something, but he just got knocked back. So
we don't really see the full effects of the attack, but we do see him get taken aback for sure. We also get this panel right next to Kizaru kicking where Saturn notices something on fire, I'm assuming, flying past him.
No, that's his where the beam hit him. That's it healing.
Oh, okay. I was confused. I couldn't tell what was going on in this panel. Okay, that's the hole where the beam hit him and he's healing it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Shit, it's not spread.
I'm so happy for Franky stock's going up, bro.
Yep.
Franky stocks are indeed going up. That is the goal.
Franky stocks are going up, but Saturn stocks might be going down a little.
Yeah, he's definitely looking real killable. You know what I mean, without this little regenerative ability, he'd be over.
Right, like Sanji was able to kick his thing away, and then like Franky actually landed the beam on Saturn too.
That shit pierced him. Like I don't think we've ever seen Franky Radical being pierce something.
No.
Yeah. Pierce someone. No.
Yeah. I was gonna say though, like it's kind of interesting that we don't really see these lasers really hit people. Like it kind of hits around them.
Yeah.
Because Kizaru was shooting through niggas for sure. Stability and Marineford, he was definitely putting lasers through niggas like the supernova and stuff. So lasers are definitely some deadly ass shit. I think what I've seen a lot with this chapter is that people seeing that Saturn seems to have like regular nigga durability. He's just some old guy. But honestly, it doesn't even matter, bro. The generation is so fucking crazy, and we have yet to see a limit for it. So yeah, I'm not surprised they don't need durability at this point, honestly, if you have some crazy shit like this up your sleeve.
Yeah,
maybe
100%.
Why dodge when you can
literally it doesn't matter.
But still, I mean, I said like I said when we did our top 30 list, I don't know where Saturn is. Like he's because based off of this chapter, I said based off of this chapter, it could be like solidified if Kuma, you know, if he dips Kuma shit or something like that, or like, you know, no one can stop him. But I don't even know if I have him over Admiral still or whatever because of what's happening. It seemed like it's like a give or take type thing right now. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need some more Saturn action to really get a full perspective on his power level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let me get through this last page, then we can break it the whole page down. So Kuma stopped moving at this point. Bonnie says that, and Bonnie lets us know that Kuma's not moving. Vegapunk gets Atlas to carry Kuma to the Labosphere. And now Kizaru is up next to Saturn, and he says, now that Kuma's on the scene, I'd say we've got an abundance of players. Let's finally end this. We get some dialogue between Vegapunk and Kizaru, where Vegapunk says, have you no heart? You're a sad man, Kizaru. And Kizaru says, yes, I'm a miserable sight. I should have brought darker shades. We get the Buster Call has officially been activated. And all warships are preparing to bombard the island and burn it down to the ground. We get the last line from Saturn where he says, those who study the secrets of the world, those who possess the blood of a lost people, those who have awakened an ancient god, this island is full of inconvenient people who must be eradicated. End of the chapter.
Crazy.
Bro, Buster Call is insane.
And this isn't a regular Buster Call either. This is the biggest one we've seen to date.
Yeah.
I believe it's 10 times bigger than any of the other two that we've seen.
Yeah, because we saw O'Hara and his lobby, and now
And O'Hara and his lobby, I believe, was like 10 warships and like 10 or 5 vice admirals, something like that.
This is like at least 10 vice admirals.
There's 10 vice admirals, 100 warships, and the Gorosei and an admiral,
Yeah, this is nuts, man.
All I gotta say is this is Buster Call number 3 for Robin, bro. Like that's crazy, bro.
She's like Luke over the Suns, bro. Yo, she be eating those shits, bro.
Nah, she ready now. I would like to see. I would definitely like to see Oda maybe take a panel or two out for Robin to acknowledge that. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Or maybe show her knowledge and experience with dealing with Buster Calls come into play at some point. I think that'd be really cool because this has definitely been her third time going through this.
Yeah.
Funny enough, we haven't seen Robin in a very long time, actually.
Yeah.
1,000%. Yep.
It's true.
Yeah, like even before the flashback and stuff, when Luffy was defending his crew and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, right, because we have a whole group of people that are still on top of the cloud in the Labosphere. You're right. We haven't seen a couple of them because once they dropped down and Saturn came out, we went into the flashback and we've been down there ever since. You're right.
Yeah, and even the people that were up there, Nami, Chopper, and Usopp were with Vegapunk when Kizaru pulled up, right?
Yeah.
Robin was not there, was she, Mod?
No, she wasn't.
No. Yeah, really interesting.
We don't know what she's been doing.
Yeah, we really don't know what she's up to. I mean, it kind of reminds me of the end of Wano when she was doing her own thing, looking for the Poneglyph. Yeah. Also, I think where's that? Jinbei was looking. Jinbei said he had Vegapunk's luggage, or that he wanted to bring. Right, I remember that clearly. But yeah, we really have no idea what Robin's doing.
Yeah.
Fuck if we know. Maybe she'll happen upon the giant robot.
That would be fucking insane.
That'd be crazy.
Because if anybody knows what to do with it, Robin would know what to do with it, right? Being the archaeologist, if anybody would know anything about it.
And if there's instructions written, she's probably the only one that could read them too.
Yeah, if it's speaking in the
ancient
language.
Oh, that's a fucking good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
So,
it's just low key. You can be seeing Robin in a mech suit.
Gurren Lagann Robin, let's go.
Yo,
that'd be crazy.
That would definitely be fire.
Tengen top of space flows. Let's go, bro.
So back to what like Callie, how since we finished the chapter now, what you were saying like with Kizaru, I feel like when he mentioned that there's an abundance of players, that's when he's like, all right, I have to go with fucking Saturn right now because there's too many of these, like Luffy, Kuma, Bonnie, like all these motherfuckers. There's too many of them, and we need to get rid of them now. So I'm gonna join forces with like actually be on Saturn's side.
I do think that's worth noting. I think the more impressionable line is what he says right after that.
Yeah.
When Vegapunk says, "You no heart," he says, "I'm a miserable sight. I should have brought darker shades." And you can see it in his eyes. He has the lines, like he looks a little uncomfortable, upset, distressed about what's going on.
So I even for sure that was what you're gonna bring up, Mysta, because I think you're about to talk about the tweet you dropped, right?
Yeah, I was about to mention. So there's a tweet that I found on Twitter, and it said,
AP, the GOAT.
Yes, sir. He says and it shows that panel of Vegapunk talking to Kizaru. In Japanese chapter, Kizaru usually has a habit of extending the end of his sentences, but this week he doesn't do that in most of his lines. This is a hot topic among Japanese readers because it shows how much mental pressure he is under.
And I think if we think about that, like mental pressure, it's like I think I used the word turmoil earlier.
Yeah, like, which is a perfect term for it, because that's exactly what he's going through. Like, because Kuma, Vegapunk, Sentomaru, Bonnie, like, I believe he considered them friends before, right? Because that's what it comes off as.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Right? And like now he's just like, do I help my friends or do I fucking worry about my job? Job security. But
it's kind of like what he said to Luffy, right? Like, you think I want to kill Vegapunk?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, and obviously how much you believe him is up to you.
I don't know. He's a real enigma right now. I can't lie. I can't get a read on him.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's what Oda's going for sure. I think if you will deny that it looks gray, it's crazy. Like, he looks like he's thinking about it, even if you don't believe he's doing anything, even if you don't believe it was him who helped Luffy or whatever. Like, it looks like he's really torn up about what he has to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, who knows what he might do or not do to help or hurt the Straw Hats, man.
Yeah, I think Kizaru might end up being the key card, the X factor in the events to come.
I think it's clear to me personally that Kizaru's not going to betray the world government in a very flippant, like, overt way. It's going to be like, if he does, it's going to be very, very subtle, like, subtle protests or whatever. Kind of like,
I agree with you.
Yeah, like, you ain't had no faith in Kizaru this whole chapter.
I don't like my thing. I guess my thing is just I haven't had faith in him since he showed up and people were trying to push the agenda that, like, oh, Kizaru wasn't fighting Luffy all out just because he was because of his inner turmoil with Vegapunk, which I do think has some truth, but I mean, yeah, this dude, like, I don't believe in him just because, like, he already said, like, I'm a cog in the machine, all this other stuff. He declared, to me at least, his side, but obviously it's a little different when you're in front of your friends. But overall, I just I don't think he helped Luffy, and if he does help them, it's going to be very subtle. It's going to be like a passive or subtle protest, not an overt, like, strike or whatever. That
like he turns around right now and fucking, like, hits Saturn.
Yeah, never.
That would be that would be overt as fuck. But but I don't think he got it in him. I don't believe it. And this also proves up my other point that I've said a long time ago, that, like, this is why I don't think admirals have conqueror's haki. Like, it's just, these are not the niggas that you expect to, like, stand up 10 toes down on their own shit. Like, they just not. If you call yourself a cog in the machine, I couldn't expect you to, rock the boat too hard. Like,
I feel that.
So can I ask you a question? Do you think that Kizaru is just a surface level character? Do you think that he has any depth to him?
He has depth, and I don't want people to confuse what I'm saying here, because I do think he has depth. I think Kizaru actually matches a lot of, like, people in real life of, like, that same struggle. Like, a lot of people don't know this, and I don't mean to make this, like, political or nothing like that, or historical in real life context or whatever, trigger warning, but, like, you know, back in the days of like slavery and stuff, a lot of the slaves did this subtle passive protest. We like to think like, oh, if I lived back then, you know, I'm going to revolt.
Yeah, I would revolt. I would. Yeah. I know the
but,
type. Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't actually live during those times, so you don't know the type of mental conditioning you could have been in to where you would have overtly revolt, right?
Right.
But a lot of you know, slave stories and slave movies and stuff depict a person that's overtly rebelling and stuff like that. And we love to champion those people, as we should, but a lot of unsung heroes are the people that do subtle protests, subtle passive things, stuff like where they act like they're too sick to work, or you know, they disobey their masters by taking longer on a certain thing or whatever, or certain things like that don't get brought up in the conversation because it's subtle. And I think Kizaru is the perfect embodiment of that for this right here. So he does have depth, and I do think that's important, but I just do not believe he's the type to rock the boat hard. He never came off to me like that. He just never had. So that's all I'm taking it for. I'm just taking his personality for what it is to me throughout the entirety of One Piece story. Like, he seems to have followed orders. He, you know, he knew Kuma back then too, when Kuma, you know, did what he was doing and, you know, teleporting Luffy and them to other places or whatever. Like, he doesn't come off to me as the type that rocks the boat too hard, but that's not like, I'm not trying to say that that's like a inherently bad thing just because he doesn't do that. So yeah.
No, that was some real shit you just said, bro. I definitely think that's exactly the depth Oda is going for in terms of like. And I think the word choice, by the way, "rock the boat" is amazing word choice. It's like depicts the exact situation you're talking about with people who don't want to overtly go against what's going on out of, you know, fear for themselves, for sure. And I think I definitely agree with you in terms of like, if he does help, it's not going to be something big. And I think the end of the chapter is kind of proof of that. He's like overtly, you know, on the face of things, he's like, yo, Saturn, we got to end this, bro. I'm on your side. So yeah, no matter what, it's not going to be big. Yeah. But it really still remains to be seen what the fuck this guy's going to do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think that was a very astute observation. Very interested to see how Kizaru moves going forward in the next coming chapters.
Yeah, just to be clear, if Kizaru proves me wrong, I'm all for it, because, you know, I love rocking the boat when it comes to these celestial dragons, but I understand if you don't, and I don't.
I like rocking the boat too.
Yeah. But yeah, nah, Kizaru does that will be a welcome change that I will gladly be wrong for. You know.
But definitely be lit.
I have a question because we talked about Kuma. I actually, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot this. Bonnie said this, but she literally said like Kuma cannot move.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
So do you think that like now the vegetative state kicked in, right?
Yeah,
like after he accomplished what he had to do, right? Yeah, like save Bonnie.
That's how I see it. Like, as long as Bonnie needed to be saved, he would do anything. Like, he would, you know, go through, you know, like travel for a whole day, literally get his face burned, his legs burned.
Oh yeah, so that would support what you said earlier. Then okay, yeah, no, that's fair. I honestly didn't even recognize her saying that when I first read through the chapter.
Yeah, I forgot
that he wasn't. Yeah, I honestly forgot too. I'm not gonna lie. No, that definitely supports him being active due to her being in trouble and deactivating once he did what he could.
Some people saw this as like Oda saying like, "Yo, man, there's a chance, you know, he might not go out in this arc." What do you guys think of that? A lot of people were, you know, unhappy if that's the case. Would you guys be? What would you guys think of that?
Well, Oda did cancel out my idea of him using the self-destruct to take out Saturn because he doesn't have a self-destruct in him. So there goes that. I still think it's possible. I still think there's a possibility that he can. Like, he clicks back for like 1 second to like help them get out, you know, and then that would be the end of it.
But would you be okay with that though? I think
I think
his
that's different from the original question, right? I think the original question is like he might not die, like he might finish his arc and go on and like live. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'd personally, that would make me happy for Kuma, but I don't see
Of
that
course,
being the case.
100% agreed. I would love to see that.
Man, that
emotional
nigga gotta
sense.
go 10 feet deep in the dirt. R.I.P. Bozo, bro.
Oh
His
shit!
character arc is finished. We got the entire storyline of this dude. This is his last great thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think he could. I'm not saying that he couldn't, because Oda is a wizard. If he wanted to, he could give Kuma more relevance in the story going forward. But at this point in time, if he were to die right now, there would be no, if not very minute loose ends. You know what I mean? We've seen his life. He's done almost everything he needs to do. As long as Bonnie gets off this island, he got the resolution with Bonnie. Bonnie knows about who he was and what he did. The only thing that I could say is that maybe he still needs to see Luffy as Joy Boy.
Bro, how did you? I was just thinking that, bro. I was waiting till you to finish.
My bad, bro.
That's exactly. No, it's fine. We just on the same page. I think that's the last thing he needs to see. Be like, I was right.
Yeah.
Luffy's the one.
Yeah.
Luffy's Nika.
I agree.
You know, but and maybe that could be the trigger too. You know, that triggers him back real quick.
Seeing Joy Boy, I could definitely see that giving him some more fighting spirit, and then maybe he holds them off while everybody escapes. I could definitely see something like that, but I do not think that Kuma survives, and I don't think that, I don't want to say it's not good writing, but I don't think it would be as good if Kuma escapes as opposed to if he lays his life down here.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think like you brought up all the points where it seems like this is really like his last stand, and all the cards have been dealt. You know, we're like, yo, we saw it all go down, and it seems like like John Strawhat from OPU says in the chat, like he said, my living will is Bonnie and Luffy, so they can do the real work to save the world, you know, in the future.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree on the sense that like this is what it seemed to be building up to. I definitely like, and Oda, like, yo, let's be real. This is Oda's thing. He be letting niggas live when they shouldn't a lot of times. And although he has been fighting it since Wano, since the final saga, some people were a bit shook, but yeah, I'm not shook. I definitely think Kuma's not making it past the arc. But yeah, he have to see Luffy Nika, man. I need to see that too. That would be hype.
Yeah. Oh man. And no break. We got a chapter coming next week.
Let's go, man. Let's fucking go, man.
So
yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Yeah, any last questions, comments, concerns before we wrap it up?
Nah, I think that's
Yeah,
it.
we got pretty deep.
Buster Call is huge.
Yo,
bro.
this is a big. It's about to be chaotic as fuck on this island. It's about to be raining hellfire all over this shit.
Like, bro, we started like we started 2024 with a fucking Buster Call, the second in the entire series in our like in the like
within the timeline that we've of the story, right?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see where it turns. It's definitely gonna get more chaotic. We're reaching the climax. Actually, one last question, because I did ask this in the Twitter chat, but how much longer do we think Egghead is?
Oof.
Even if you can't give me an exact page number, do you think there's a lot left, or are we getting towards the end of it? You know,
I think this is like the beginning of the climax.
The beginning of the height of it, right? That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's not too much left, right?
Yeah, I mean, but there's still like Callie, how you said, there's still a lot of players that are in play that we haven't seen yet, right? Like Robin, we have the Blackbeard Pirates, we have Marco going to Egghead because he's trying to go see fucking Vegapunk also, right? And
she told him to. We don't know if he's gonna do it.
Yeah, but I mean, you would assume so, because he was like, Weevil did save the fucking village, so I guess I gotta go help him. So, you know, it's just there's a lot of motions going on. We don't know what fucking Law's doing, right? Because Beppo took him, and like maybe fucking he's going to where the Straw Hats are. I don't know.
For that nigga is not going to Egghead. That nigga is sinking somewhere at the bottom of the ocean, bro. Okay, maybe not sinking. Nah, that was crazy. That was a little crazy. Sinking. He's off somewhere trying to heal his pride, bro. I think the only players.
That would be crazy.
Nah, that would be crazy. You know, as soon as I said it, I was like, wait a minute. That was kind of crazy. That was a little OD.
My man jumped into the water and then just sinking down.
Yo, it'd be like that sometimes.
Oh man.
Like no.
There are definitely a lot of moving pieces still left on the island. A lot of unknowns that we still have to cover. I do think there's still a decent amount.
Strider says 510 in the Twitch chat. I think 510 is like the low end. Like if it was 10,
510 is. I think
that's
that's
like really
definitely the low
low
end. Yeah, that's the low end. I would definitely say like 15, 20.
Okay.
I'm thinking
Maybe 10, 15. I think 15 is a good number. I think 15 is a nice is a good nice sweet
I
spot.
agree with you. And even 15 like might feel like low key. Like that could still feel short. Because again, there is still like, but I think really it depends like what Oda wants to do with Egghead, man. Like, will all the threads that has been set up for Egghead, like all the connections with Ohara, the dragon, the lore, like will a lot of it be wrapped up? Not wrapped up, but like will we get more on it here? Will we get more on it in Elbaf? You know what I mean? I really wonder what Oda wants to do, but just action wise, man, I don't see it going more than like 15, 20, until we're like, okay, you know what? Now we're concluding in the resolution, and let's move on.
right.
I feel that.
All right, we gotta wait and see.
Yeah.
We are reaching the head. No break next week, so we are back with another chapter. Let's get it. We're back on regular schedule. You love to see it. Back to back One Piece, absolutely. That's always a blessing, man.
Yes, sir.
Back to back One Piece is peak.
Absolutely. Always looking forward to it. That is gonna be it for us though. Sure, sit down. We hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Big shout outs to everybody in the Twitch chat and the YouTube chat talking with us, hanging out with us. We appreciate you guys. If you don't watch our episodes live, you need to make sure you watch our episodes live because it do be lit. Make sure you guys follow us on all our social media platforms. We're on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube at Strawhat Sitdown. If you look up Strawhat Sitdown, you will find us everywhere. All right. I think that's it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's it. No break next week, so we will be back next Sunday with another Strawhat Sitdown chapter review. Until then, hope you guys enjoyed. You guys take it easy, be safe, be healthy. We appreciate you, and we will see y'all when we see y'all. Peace.
Peace, y'all. Follow your dreams. Follow your dreams.
Who gon' get down? We are. This that Strawhat sit down. We are. Who the crew with the fleet? We are. Who gon' piece that one piece? We are. Who gon' get down? We are. This that Strawhat sit down. We are. Who the crew with the fleet? We are. Who gon' piece that one piece? We are. Strawhat Sitdown crew in the building. We Corona to these other podcasts. We gon' put these people in their feelings when they hear this, and they know that they can't top this. We spit facts and we poppin' every time an episode is dropping. We see D3 in the corner, Mysta, that's a real G with the green screen in the background. Got him looking like he in a real scene. We got Big Mod in the cut. Always ready with rebuttals, but he bring the knowledge when we in the huddle, so you know the crew is never gonna fumble. And it's YHuss, last but not least. If you ask me, then Cali, mad the captain, make him rally around me. Every Sunday we gon' run deep, and we can't stop until we find out about that one piece. Who gon' get down? We are. This that Strawhat sit down. We are. Who the crew with the fleet? We are. Who gon' piece that one piece? We are. Who gon' get down? We are. This that Strawhat sit down. We are. Who the crew with the fleet? We are. Who gon' piece that one piece? We